College students, they were asked about cancelling student loan debt. All right, listen to what they said. Roll tape.
Loan forgiveness policies are really good.
Student loans are like a really big problem, and a lot of college students are like facing a lot of like tough issues, so I would support it.
It's so much money that like we can't pay it off, like with some of the jobs that we want in the future.
By forgiving student loans, you get a bunch of people out of like holes so that they can start living their lives and, like Jake said, spending money.
Okay, all the people in that video clearly wanted to get rid of student debt. Got it. All right, now listen to what college students had to say about cancelling credit card debt. Roll that tape.
Owning a credit card, I guess, isn't necessarily, like, you don't have to have a credit card. Sure, it's beneficial in some ways, but it's not essential in the same way that a four-year college education has become.
Well, the American dream is to live better than your parents, and in order to do that, you kind of have to go to university. You don't have to own a credit card. You can use a debit card, you can use cash, there's other means of paying for things.
Didn't seem to like the idea of cancelling credit card debt. All right, the man who did the interviews is Cabot, Phillips, Campus Reform Media Director. Okay, look, first of all, I take it there was some editing there. I mean, you didn't get all the interviews into the video. You edited out the ones that didn't work for you. Is that what happened?
Absolutely not. People can go watch the full video over at campusreform.org. We talked to people all afternoon. There was one student that did come out and say, no, the government can't just magically snap their finger and make debt disappear. But surrounding this whole student loan debt forgiveness plan is this idea that student loan debt is bad, it weighs on people, which, yeah, we can all agree that's true, and that the solution should be the government just making it disappear and having taxpayers foot the bill. Well, by that logic, why don't you also do that for credit card debt? Why don't you do that for all kinds of other debt? Because if it weighs on people and the government can just make it disappear, why not? And the students, it was interesting to see how so many of their reactions were, well, you don't have to have a credit card. You have to have a college degree. And I think that is kind of indicative of the mentality.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why there's so much student loan debt in the first place is because people think, I have to have a college degree to be successful. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll take out hundreds of thousands of dollars loan, even if I know I can't pay them back.
That stuck out to me as well. You don't necessarily have to have a credit card, but you really have to have a 4-year college degree.
Yeah, and I think also one reason that we see this growing even more is because for people asking, what's going to happen when we raise this whole generation to be entitled? You know, this entitlement generation, people say millennials, Generation Z. This is what it looks like tangibly when policy starts to come into play. People feel like they are entitled to the government giving them whatever they want and making all their problems disappear. And so when you ask young people, who, by the way, are not going to be the ones paying the taxes to foot the bill for this, when you ask them, are you entitled to a debt-free life, even if you're the one that signed your name on that loan? Of course they're going to say yes, because they've been raised to think they're entitled to whatever makes their life easier. And again, it would be nice to just forgive this debt, but that's not how the real world works.
But it's not how politics works either. I mean, think of it this way. If you're a Democrat, you're on the left, you're a candidate, I'm going to get rid of your student debt. I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to give you free college. I'm going to give you this, give you that. That's a powerful vote getter, especially amongst that age group, which is a very large demographic group in the next election.
Yeah, millennials are now the largest voting bloc in America, so if you can just tell them, I'm going to give you all these free things without actually having to explain why, oftentimes they get a free pass on that, of course it's going to be impactful. And I wish we could see more politicians, especially on the left, addressing why there's so much student loan debt in the first place. For perspective, $1.5 trillion of student loan debt. That's larger than the GDP of every country on earth except 12 countries. It's about even there with Russia's entire GDP. It's a lot of student loan debt. And I think the two reasons we see so much of it in America specifically, first off, students are convinced they have to get a degree, and so they take out high-risk loans with no real chance of paying them back in many situations. And second off, the government keeps lending to them. The government knows people don't have a chance to pay them back, but they keep lending, and so that means universities have no incentive to lower costs. Universities know they can charge more and more money every year. People keep taking out these high-risk loans because ultimately the universities don't have any reason to keep costs low. And so I think if we don't do anything to stem the growth of student loan debt in the first place, then all this forgiveness, all these plans, it's not going to mean anything. It's just a temporary Band-Aid off of a problem that's going to keep bleeding.
All right, Cabot, Phillips, right there on the campuses again. Good stuff, Cabot. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. Thank you. Now this.